All right, Asharala, part 3. Let's see if I can knock this out here. So listen, scientific facts in Scripture. The Bible contains knowledge confirmed by modern science long before these facts were discovered. Please understand, we don't need science to prove nothing, okay? But just saying, gotta give you some information. Isaiah 40:22, it is he who sits above the circle of the earth, not an oval, flat. Anyways, Job 26 verse 7, he stretches out the north over empty space. He hangs the earth on nothing. Leviticus 17:11, the life of the flesh is in the blood. The necessity of blood for sustaining life, my dear siblings in Amasia, which also has a spiritual and a physical application. Genesis 1 describes creation in an order that aligns with scientific understanding: light, the heavens, earth, plant life, animal life, then humanity. Job 38:4, Abba challenges human understanding of creation. Psalms 19:1, the heavens declare the glory of Abba Yahweh, and the firmament shows his handiwork, my dears. Okay, the fact that our modern laws echo biblical laws, commandments, statutes, and precepts, right? You shall not murder, steal, bear false witness, found in Exodus 20:13 and 16. These are foundational laws that are reflected in nearly almost every legal system worldwide. Okay, Leviticus 19:18. Love your neighbor as yourself. This is principle, and it underpins much of Western law and social ethics. Deuteronomy's principle of justice, care for the poor, and impartiality are mirrored in the modern demographic codes. Not crossing a neighbor's boundary. Your debt getting canceled every 7 years. Well, you know, they kind of manipulated that one, right? Give you some more interest when you're not supposed to do that according to Scripture. Anyways, just saying. The Bible precedes all religious texts. And this right here is what I need you to hear, my siblings. Right? Because then they bring up all these other things. And it's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Did you do your research? Do your research. Stop talking about things that you don't know about. Okay? The idea that the Bible is just another religious text is not historically accurate, because it's not. Okay? The scripture for the first covenant were compiled and revered centuries before the Quran, the Talmud, the Babylonian, Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and or the teachings of Confucius and Buddha. Do your research, my dear. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, dating back over 3,000 years. These writings predate the Quran, 7th century AD. The Talmud, compiled after the destruction of the Second Temple. The Bhagavad, I can't say that name, Gita, the Analects of Confucius, and more. Okay, the biblical creation accounts, I've read many books where I'm like, gosh, that came from the Bible, right? Of the flood, you know, those kinds of things. Bases, many of these books got their bases literally from the scriptures. From the scriptures, the true word that was written way before these other words. But yet, you believe those texts and not the true scriptures. The biblical creation account forms a basis for many later myths and stories in other cultures. The Bible's moral and ethical teachings profoundly influence all major world religions and philosophies that came after. I read a book called The Four Agreements, right, written by, I want to say it's the Aztecs of the Mayans, I can't remember. And this book has the four agreements, right? Don't take anything personal. Always do your best. What's the other one? Don't take anything personal. Always do your best. Nothing, any thing that anyone does is because of you. There's one more, I keep forgetting that one, but these literally all came from scripture. All of them came from scripture. So for us to say that these things predate or these things, are actual legitimate, again, I don't like to use the word religions, but, well, for them, yes. For Abba, no. I just don't want to compare the two. It's not the same. It's not the same, right? The Bible's moral and ethical teachings profoundly influence all major world religions, philosophies that came after. What's crazy to me is some of these people who are at the head of these religious organizations, all this other stuff that has nothing to do with scripture, they even talk about the scriptures. They talk about the one true God. But yet, you, the human being, who say, oh, it's written by man. You utter those things out of your mouth with absolutely no knowledge because you've chosen not to seek that knowledge. Sorry. So, it doesn't make sense to me that we do that because you say things like, man wrote it, and then you think that that's something smart you're saying. It's not, because you haven't opened the book to literally confirm, anything, but to say that man wrote it. And again, you're okay with understanding and saying, okay, these religious texts over here are correct and 100%, which man wrote, but the one with my Abba, no, not so much. Not so much. I mean, we seem to not understand that all these texts gleam from the text of scriptures, right? And if the Bible was, and it is, the original text, how could you compare those texts with the writings of scripture? Right? You can't do that. It was the original, right? It's always been the original. They can't take, from the original text and then claim that it's theirs, right? You can't do that, right? That's like, what the world does today. You take someone's stuff and then you invented the patent system to say, okay, well, that's mine now. I patented it. Foolishness. No, you're using the original. You can't take the original, put it to the side, make your own, and say it's yours. No, listen, people. The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. He is a liar. He's the father of lies, murder. He was from the beginning. He's the father of lies, okay? Don't be so sold and bold in your defiance that you can't pick up the book and read it, okay? Satan wants to be like our Abba. And he wants to take his place. And so he's used all of these other religious texts to go ahead and make up stories as if these things were legitimately just part of their culture or their religion, and then say, okay, this is real, this is true. And he's done that. Why? To make you think, oh, no, this is real over here, but this over here is not real, right? Satan wants to be like our father. You not knowing what truly the text says, you are condemning your own self to the pit, my siblings. You will have no excuse when you come before the judgment seat of our Father, because he made sure he gave all the information that you needed. You have many ways to get that information. Therefore, you will have no excuse. The problem is we don't love the truth, right? We do not have love for the truth. We believe the lie. We're not like the Bereans searching the scriptures to find truth. When I came into this truth, meaning, out of Christianity, I didn't truly understand these names and places that were in the Bible. So I had to go and get information, books that I needed to read to understand what the modern day names are and how they translate to the ancient, right? Not that I needed that to prove scripture. That wasn't the point. I need to understand the names that I was reading in the scripture. Well, what are the modern day names for those places today to go ahead and understand certain things, okay? Now, I did that just for my learning and my understanding. So we kind of need to go deeper, right, in our learning, right? The enemy is a liar. He's done this since the dawn of time, since the garden, right? A dawn of time, since the garden, right? He's been doing this, mixing some truth with some lie and then calling it the whole truth, right? He will do anything and everything to create confusion so that we don't receive the truth, right? But thank goodness our Abba, whose word shall not fail, thanks for his Ruach. Those who have it, right? Those who have his Ruach. We have love for the truth, and he reveals the truth to his children. My siblings, rejecting the Bible simply because it was written by man is you not having love for the truth. All writings pass through human hands, yet not all claim the inspiration and prophetic accuracy, scientific insight, and historical endurance of the scriptures. The Bible stands apart as the inspired word of Elohim Yahweh, preserved, prophetic, and preeminent. Okay? Now, let us heed the words of Isaiah. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of Elohim Yahweh stands forever. Okay? The invitation has always been given. Read, reflect, test the scriptures yourself. As our Hamashiach Yahweh Shai said, speaking to the Pharisees, and I am paraphrasing, and you will not come to me that you have life. I receive honor, not from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I came in my Father's name, and you did not receive me. But if another comes in his name, Hasatan, you receive him. You will receive him, yeah? Skipping a few verses, do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. Therefore, there is one who accuses you, even Moses, whom you trust. For it, if you believe Moses, you would also believe me, because he wrote of me. But if you believe not the writings of Moses, and some people don't, How can you believe the words of Hamashiach?